Mindset Podcast. We're your guide as you make your way through life, getting better 1% every day. We believe that life is lived and true victory won through adversity. Nothing easy is ever worth it. We believe in the warrior ethos and support those that choose to walk that.
Yes. So I want to talk about influence.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you've acquired a team.
Yes. I built one.
So we get into that. We'll talk about a little leadership thought experiment here. But first off, I found this article by way of someone on Instagram I follow, Jen Wiederstrom. I met her at a Store Next Summer Strong.
Okay.
I think she comes like every year, but I've seen her 2 or 3 years in a row and talked to her. And she put so this original post that she put out, she deleted. But then there's this one, which is a much nicer. I don't think she was not nice.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was just kind of like saying, like, make sure you know who you're following.
Yeah.
like in terms of like, maybe they should be a professional.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly in the world of fitness, perhaps they should know what they're talking about.
Okay.
And I believe she caught some Instagram flack in terms of comments and stuff like that. People like, who are you to talk or whatever? So yeah, this influencer world that we live in on, Instagram and TikTok and whatever social media corner of the world that you spend time looking at. What is your thought process on who you give your attention to?
That
was a terrible setup for that question.
Yeah. Well, can we kind of define maybe what like we're talking about with these fit influencers first?
Sure.
Because it's different depending on, and if we're talking about social media especially, it's different depending on the type of platform that you're on.
Yeah, right.
And, like, I don't do it as much, but I used to do a lot of SEO work. And if you look at the internet as a whole and just say that, Google's the window to the rest of the internet as far as search is concerned.
For most people.
Right. That there's this principle, I'm going to get it wrong, but it's called EAT, and it's like expertise. It's when you are searching up things that have to do with health and money, and I think there's one more thing as well, that like you will not rank as high in Google if you do not have certain certifications in health. Like you have to have, some type of, obviously doctoral, one of the higher ones down to like personal trainer, right. Some type of certification that says that you actually have some type of training. Same thing with money. If you're, a fiduciary versus a, personal investment versus, some dude that is saying, hey, you should buy this stuff. Like,
right.
There are a lot of websites, obviously, some of them are scam, but then some of them are, have written content websites before that, if you're trying to get into that space, then, Google wants you to be an expert. And so that they will recommend you because you are an expert and actually know what you're talking about. Do they play fair? Probably not, but for the most part, like they have some standards.
Sure, they're trying something.
Right. YouTube, on the other hand, owned by Google.
Yeah, it doesn't do anything.
They don't. And so it's easier to rank through their algorithms for the health and financial areas than you would on a regular website through Google search. And, with YouTube being the second largest search engine in the world, that, that does matter a lot. And so you get a lot of shit out there. So then Facebook and Facebook owning Instagram, like which is where we're heading here.
Yeah.
Is
You can throw YouTube in the same
yeah, true.
influencer.
And so, like, what was it? Was it 2 years ago? I came to you and I said, I'd really like to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I think it was actually before COVID, I guess. I'd really like to start a YouTube channel that's based on, warrior mobility and
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yeah,
What happened to that?
well, a couple of
Did
things.
you get a full-time job?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one.
Yeah.
But two, it was.
Yeah.
I think I told you at the time too, like the main thing that I wanted to do was help veterans
Yeah.
who who maybe have trouble with mobility issues, and like there's the range of like you're in a wheelchair, amputee.
Oh yeah. There's the whole
to
spectrum.
right to like you're 49-year-old dude, that's just doesn't stretch enough, and so I wanted to start something because it was helping me on my personal journey and helping me recover from a lot of pain that I was having.
Yeah.
And because I was like, oh, if I actually stretch,
Turns
then,
out
I feel pretty good, and then I can perform better. And so I wanted to do that, but then that's where I started learning about the expertise part, and so I felt like a fraud trying to put something out there like here are the moves that I've researched and everything,
Right.
but at the same time I don't have a certification, and so I was even looking to get certified, and anyway, did not happen, and had a full-time job and had to work. But
it's a good point though. I mean, you realize that perhaps I should not be the one doing this.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And because like if I'm doing it wrong because I haven't been trained in it, then it's bro science at that point.
Yeah.
And that's what I think a lot of this is pointing back to.
I think so.
And not that bro science is always wrong, but it's trying to then project like, you need to listen to me because, well, listen, this works for me. This is what I do. This is how I feel.
Right.
Like, well, if you are an amputee, and struggling with that, and then you look and see what I'm doing. Well, like I broke my back, in the Army, but at the same time, like I'm a lot more mobile than most people that come out of the Army or military.
Right. Certainly
who are disabled. So, on the influencer scale, and plus, like my abhorration for social media in general now that I just don't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
There's that part too. I don't want to play that game. And anyway, so those are all reasons why I felt like that wasn't the right direction to go, even though I still do believe in like, I feel like that would be helpful to people. But,
sure.
But am I the person to do that? Probably not.
It's debatable. Yeah.
But
I mean, according to the numbers, like, approximately 50,000 fitness influencers on Instagram alone, varying degrees of credibility.
Right.
That's everyone from, professionals to
me.
There you go. And, a lot of them have zero experience.
Right.
And I can't count on, both hands. Like I just saw one this morning that was like, this woman was like, do this workout for HIIT, and she was doing some stuff, and she was doing kettlebell swings, and it was like, I looked at the I was watching the kettlebell swing, and I was like, whoa,
that's either an amazing different way of doing it, or
it was like not healthy, and and I look immediately, and I'm like, oh, you're not a coach. And then I was like, oh, I'm here for the comments.
Yeah.
And it was like, 5,000 comments of like, please fix your form. Please fix your, and that's another side of it. Like if you ever put anything on the internet and then read the comments.
Oh, we have a good friend.
So it's the other side of,
of
you've got the faux fitness professional saying do something. But even in cases where you put something out and it's right, then you get the faux fitness professionals, couch jockeys or whatever, that make the 5,000 comments up, and you're like, Whoa,
Yeah,
what?
why
You
am
know?
I doing this?
Yeah.
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 Well,
It's pain on both sides.
when I did, I don't know how long ago that was, but the 22 push-ups a day for the
Yeah.
22 veterans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still remember. Hello, my friend, our mutual friend out there that gave me shit about, she actually posted on my things that were about, like doing
Oh,
this for veterans,
no.
fix your elbows, bring your elbows in. I'm like, thanks a lot. I won't
Mhm.
even say who she is, and you know who it is.
Yeah, I think
But I love her to death.
there's two sides of it. I mean, I think people can get so excited, just like self stated.
Yeah.
Like you get so excited about something
Yeah.
that's helped you or transformed you
Mhm.
that you feel compelled to share it.
Yeah.
And you don't think about maybe the damage you could do.
Sure.
Right. I mean, in your case, you did.
Yeah.
And you were concerned with it. I remember from day one, you were like, I don't know. I'm just going to try the,
Yeah.
like, cool. But I don't think that's how it applies to the comments. I think there's a whole different
No, but
podcast focus on that psychology.
yes, but it happens whether you're trying to do something like that or maybe this woman thought that she was doing the right thing, or maybe she's just trying to find a platform to
She's just trying to coach.
yeah, exactly. And I also think about the fact that I don't think I told you this, but Friday I went for my annual doctor's visit. I've lost 20
You didn't tell me
pounds.
that, but
No, I didn't.
I'm here to listen.
I lost 20 pounds from
Wow.
exactly a year ago to last Friday.
20 pounds in a year.
20 pounds.
That's really good. Most people gain 20 pounds every year.
Yeah. And, and a lot of it's been working out. A lot of it's been intermittent fasting. A lot of it has, there's a whole section of intermittent fasting that's like this deep.
Talk about
dark
bro
web.
science.
Yeah, exactly. But
That one is full of bro science.
right.
When people teach it and
Yeah.
talk about it online, it's like all bro science.
You can only drink water versus you can drink coffee, you can drink, milk in it. You can, as long as it doesn't go over 50 calories.
What is technically breaking your fast?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is it fats? Is it protein? Is it
right? And
because if it's protein, what if I eat a head of lettuce? Did I just break my fast? I mean, it's not protein.
Well, exactly, but it's something that went through my
Yeah,
body.
I know.
So
everyone has a different.
So thinking about what thought I was going to try to do a couple of years ago, and the mobility aspect, and then thinking about I fucking lost 20 pounds the past year,
right?
By trying to do not every right thing, but I told you whenever I travel,
you're working hard.
That's the worst time for me.
But you fix that.
Yeah. And, I made sure that when I was in London this year, I went running every other day. And I was, there for 10 days.
It's
and
cool
so I got a lot of running.
But it's cool to do something like that in a different city, too.
True. But, so am I somebody then that has influence to give advice about here's how I lost 20 pounds by doing these things or not?
Yeah.
I mean, if I wanted to put that story onto Instagram, am I allowed to do that?
Of course you are.
Right. But
that's the thing, right? Like you were talking about Google, and they're giving you weight because you have a certificate. But what do you call a number one doctor? The one that graduates first in their class.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you call the one that graduates last in their class?
Doctor.
I mean,
yeah,
that's that age old joke. But I mean, just because you have a certification in, fitness or nutrition or whatever, it doesn't mean you should still be the influencer. I mean, it doesn't mean doesn't necessarily, you probably know more than the average person, but there's a whole spectrum here.
Yeah.
And
I'd also say when it comes to nutrition and working out and things like that, I'm not going to say that I know as much as a doctor, but there are plenty of doctors that I'm a lot more fit than. And
so there you go.
Yeah.
Should you take nutrition advice from your doctor who's overweight?
Right. Exactly.
It's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I think I think the point is you need to take it all with a giant grain of salt.
Right.
And
make sure there's pink Himalayan
or many grains of salt. Yes. Yeah. Make sure you put it in your drink every morning after your 12-hour fast.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Because I know a lot of people that have, CrossFit certifications, fitness weightlifting, and they're not really good at communicating the things that they've studied. And I know people that have coached without any certs of any kind, but they've coached for like 10 years and they're really good. Like they really know, and they've learned from, helping people and, making mistakes, but correcting them and helping people and actually making a difference in people's lives. That's the influencer. Yeah. Or that's where I would rather get my information from. But how do you find that? How do you find those people?
How do you wade through the bullshit?
How do you wade through the bullshit? Which is a terrible segue into this next section.
Okay.
How do you? So this is. Let me remember where this is from. This is from a guy I follow, Coop, Two Brain Business. He's like a coach, a business doctor,
right?
And he's talking about leadership, right? So if you are, an influencer, I mean, it means you want to be a leader. You want to be a thought leader, influencer. I mean, it's kind of the same thing.
Same thing.
Just when we throw that wrench of like social media or TikTok or Instagram on top of that world, it becomes sort of murky.
Yeah. Swarmy.
But deep down, I mean, we just want to be leaders, right? So what are ways that you exert influence over other people? Which is the point of this. And I wanted to go through some of these with you.
Yep.
And he has Coop wrote this article. It's like 5 levels of influence. So they follow you because you are the boss. And I think a lot, and I was interested to talk with you about this because within the past 2 or 3 years, you've made the transition from being in the same company, from being that person that just does things to managing more and more people. And now you're like you have a team, you lead a team,
Yeah.
Which means you have to assert your dominance. But it's not about that. I mean, you have to assert your influence.
Right.
You have to, like, why should these people listen to you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, the first level is because you're their boss.
Yeah. I think that's, I've seen this in a different way when I took it was a negotiation class actually in my MBA. And we talked about the different level. I don't think it was influence, but it was more like, it's along the fudge. It's basically it's power. So they follow you because you're the boss comes from legitimate power,
right? And it's part of their job description,
right? Exactly. Like your job is to listen to this person because they are your manager.
Yeah.
They're not your leader necessarily, but they are your manager. And so you listen to them because they basically decide whether you stay or go. And that is level 1 of legitimate power.
I think so. I mean, it doesn't get more base than that.
Well,
so, I mean, there's not a lot of debate there.
No.
It's kind of like, yes.
Well, why should your kids listen to you? Technically.
Yeah, because I
brought you into
own
this
the
world.
house.
Yeah. But
I mean,
it's the legitimate power technically of you're their parent and they should do what you say. That's funny. But we know that there's got to be more to that.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to think of your employees in that aspect as well.
Yeah. And that's sort of like a top down.
Yeah.
As a top down influence, top down control.
Yeah.
But the second level, that they follow you because you're the best of all bosses. Now you're exerting that influence, top down, but also horizontally across the organization or across, the internet or whatever it is that. So, you're casting that wide net as well as down.
Right. Yeah. And this is, I mean, obviously there are better levels as you go through, but this is, and I don't remember what level of power that is, but again, they do associate with the different levels of power. But it's the you're getting into the leadership realm a
Yeah.
little bit as opposed to just the manager realm. And with the leader being somebody that I would follow them because,
Right.
not just because they're my boss, but because like what they say makes sense.
Mhm.
What they do makes sense. And they're looking out for me.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that because they appreciate me.
Yeah.
And whereas this person up here or this person over
Yeah.
here is maybe,
Yeah.
not as much.
They're kind of sniffing that, like, oh, this he's pretty good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I should probably pay attention.
It's a respect,
Yeah.
of how that person acts.
Yeah.
Maybe not of who they are, but how that person acts.
Yeah. You should be adjacent to that person.
Yeah.
Sure. That's a good place to be.
Yeah. And that's a fine level, if you were in an organization, or not in an organization that I don't know. I'd rather work for that person than people that, I'm not going to say, and not even talking about my organization or anything.
You always
but
come with a list of names.
yeah,
that
I
you
know.
can't
Like,
say.
yeah, exactly. But
Hold
there's
grudges.
somebody that I know very well that that person has to, like, there's no leader, and the managers are in this matrix organization, so she's not even sure. I mean, that person is not even sure, like, if I have an issue, who do I go to?
Right.
We were actually just talking about this today. I'm like,
That's a bad scenario.
yeah. And unfortunately, there are a lot of organizations that are like that, to where, like, that person, that person actually goes to somebody who is not a manager,
right,
and says, "How would you handle this?"
Yeah.
So we'll get into that in a second.
Yeah.
But the legitimate power that these other people have, that this person looks at and goes, they don't even care.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's not comfortable being there. All right. So the third level, they follow because of what you've done. So the team or people, and I think at this point, you're even branching out beyond your organization.
Mhm. Yeah.
Right. Because if you have a track record of being a winner, right? You've done things success. You've completed projects. Now you have reach outside of your organization. I think.
Right. That's the was it that's the expert power at that point.
Yeah.
It's,
I like that.
Yeah, it's the
you are an expert.
Right.
You're
I've been there, done that. I know where to put the X.
And other people know that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And not just within your organization, but outside of it as well.
Yeah. You can use that to recruit other people.
Mhm.
I think. I mean, if you're at that level of influence, I mean, that's solid, man. You know your shit. You're reaching out beyond your little group of your little team. Now your people. Other teams are like, man, I want to get on that guy's team.
Yeah. Well,
Or gal.
Bring it into your former world and the world that I live in still today, which is like on the conference circuit.
Yeah.
Like, that's that expert power. That's that follow you because of what you done. Like Chris Koye. Like, he did incredible work.
Yeah.
And then built something that,
Yeah.
people go back to and still use CSS tricks today because of something that he did, 12, 13 years ago. Yeah, that long.
Try 20 years.
Oh, okay. And CSS was barely a thing.
Yeah.
And, and again, even now, like, and him and Draplin, I mean, like, because they have done those things, that they have this expert power, that, you're like, that's really cool. And then, and I think especially, people like that, they have something that they can, I was going to say physically point to. It's not necessarily
absolutely
physical, but they can point back and go, I did this.
Yeah.
And, that's sometimes harder.
I mean, at that point, if you are playing on that, social media, internet influencer game, this is where you want to get.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like all the stuff before that, this is where you want to get.
Well, that's why every freaking Navy SEAL that comes out writes a book.
Well, yeah, because they have all of this other stuff.
Exactly.
And then they have this. And
they have the expert power position of well, I did this.
Is it a book or is it a t-shirt company? I'm not sure.
Coffee.
Yeah, coffee. Coffee, t-shirts, book.
Yeah,
Beats,
exactly.
Navy SEAL, post Navy SEAL,
Right.
influencer, trifecta.
Right. Sometimes it's fiction, sometimes it's nonfiction. Podcasts. Yes, yes.
They all have podcasts.
Yes, exactly. But I think that's funny when was it Jack who's the fiction writer?
Jack Carr.
Yeah, Jack Carr, even jokes about
he has a legitimate skill to create stories.
True. And whenever they come out, I read it. But
or Blockbuster, Amazon specials.
Exactly.
Whatever.
With Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
But but the thing is like he jokes about.
Yeah.
There's another Navy SEAL, book that came out and everything. And it's like, but I get it because those are transferable skills.
Yeah.
They weren't identified as transferable skills 10 years ago though. Okay, 15 because we saw them 10 years ago. Yeah, exactly. But they weren't, extreme leadership was not a thing, again, 10, 12 years ago. And
all right, you're talking about the extreme ownership.
Yeah, extreme ownership. Yeah. But I mean, that's where you would actually look to like biographies about Harry Truman or, things like that you would find out about those people and how they led.
The Benjamin Franklin morning routine. I forget who I was just talking about that. We were talking about the quintessential like morning routine post or whatever.
Right.
It was you and I were messing around on the internet trying to figure out how to make money building things.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember, it came from that Benjamin Franklin. He had written a page in one of his books about his morning routine for success or whatever, and people started like posting that and stuff, and then people started posting their own.
Right.
Now it's like kind of a thing. Everyone talks about it.
Well, now it's not even the fitness influencers. It's here are the 27 products. I see this with having two girls in the house that are teenagers that here I am at my Alabama sorority dorm. Here are the 27 products I use and all time lapse. And here's my morning routine.
Have you ever looked at was it Mark Wahlberg, his morning routine? It's like it starts at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's technically yesterday. That's
it makes Jocko look
that's yesterday,
weak.
Bro. Yeah, but it's like
I know. Yeah. Was it Jimmy? No. Was it Jimmy Kimmel or who? No. It was a British guy who documented like, all right, I'm gonna work out with Mark Wahlberg and it's 2 a.m.
I know. What are you doing, bro?
Right.
Like,
Oh, by the way, third time in my life, somebody walked up to me 2 weeks ago, or I was standing behind her in line, and she looked back at me and like wouldn't talk. And I was like, "Hi, how's it going?"
Mm.
And then she looked back at me and she's like, "I thought you were Mark Wahlberg." I was like, "That's 3 times now." And anyway, so
you can claim it
as a compliment. Yeah.
Well, he is getting older. All right.
Okay. Fuck you.
The 4th level of influence.
Mm-hmm.
They follow because of what you've done for them. You invested time and effort into their development, and they follow you out of gratitude and loyalty.
Yeah.
That's legit.
Yeah, but when I first started reading that, I was like, is this really that far down? Because
you can circumvent 1, 2, and 3
and
just do 4.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I don't know that he necessarily. I just copied and pasted. I don't know that he has them in like levels. I'm doing the level.
No. These are levels.
Yeah,
I mean,
they definitely are.
Well, 5 levels in
yeah, he does have the word.
But not only can you circumvent by doing that, but it has to be on a deeper level than just base like I bought you a cheeseburger or a cup of coffee.
Right. That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I helped change your tire. Like, it's not really.
That's
just shit you should do if you like people and you help them.
I opened a door for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're now my leader.
I tried to open the door for you earlier when I went to the smoothie place, but you wouldn't go in.
Get that pumpkin smoothie there.
Mm-hmm.
Is it any good?
It's really good. We should have them sponsor this.
Smoothie King.
Just because I want pumpkin
You
smoothies.
want pumpkin smoothie.
But I want them year round, not just when it's
Well,
fall.
That's not gonna happen.
I know. Damn it.
But I mean that number 4, that's legit. That's when you are making a difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
Like in a positive, in whatever way.
Right.
Whatever like niche or vertical you want to exist in.
Right.
Right.
With my team, I talk way too much. But there are many times where I tell them, like, listen, I'm telling you this because I hope that you use whatever this thing is here. And then I look at them and go, I know you're not going to be here forever. And I know you're not going to be working for us forever, because I want to continue to help you get to a point to where, like, you either replace me or you do, what I'm doing someplace else, because that's what fits you. And that is the thing that I want to do for, like, sometimes it's harder to do for your kids because they don't want to listen to you, but maybe your employees do.
Right.
And, but that's something that I try to put to them all the time, which is like, I want to invest in you because it helps me.
Yeah.
But I want to invest in you because it helps you. You should be able to grow. And then I want you to be a better human when you leave here, with better skills. And, and I mean, the times that I don't sleep at night now, are our immediate family. But then sometimes it's, like I had a talk with one of my people on Monday, and he said, I need to figure out how to get you more engaged. And I need to figure out how, because it helps me. I need to figure out how to get you to where you feel comfortable, speaking up and doing the things that need to be done, because it helps you and it helps me.
Right.
And, so I try to do that investment, and I don't do it perfectly is what I'm getting to, but I try to do that investment because, if I invest now, it should help me, but it really needs to help them, because they need to go on and, again, be better at what they're doing in order to 20, 30 years from now, do the same thing that I'm trying to do with them.
It's interesting you use the word investment.
Yeah.
Why did you use that word?
Because all investments take time to produce results. And if you get the short term, you can do something very quickly. And I bought the coffee for you so that you'll like me. I bought, I paid for when I go and buy like somebody's meal, I think I told you that I'll do that sometimes. If they're wearing, 82nd Airborne patch, or if I know they're infantry or something like that, and I'll buy it and not say anything, because I don't want that, like, oh, you did this for, I've done it at the airport. Like I bought breakfast for, a bunch of basic trainees that were going to their first assignment ever. Yeah. And I made sure that the wait staff, did not mention. Yeah, I was sitting right next to him.
Right. You didn't
I made sure that I, said, do not say anything about where it came from, because that's not an investment. That's just like, I've been in that position.
You just want a high five at that point.
Yeah, well, I just wish somebody would have taken care of me the way that I wanted to take care of these kids, and I'm in the position to do that now, and it wasn't that. The investment, though, is about, like, it's the coaching that you do. It's the, it's the coaching with my team that I hope I do. It's something that it takes time to do.
Yeah.
And, whether that's in your people, or if that's, money wise or education wise, like, it's all an investment. And, sometimes you invest in the wrong things.
Right. The wrong people.
Sometimes you get lucky and your investment, but I even think about like Berkshire Hathaway and everything, and like they go and they take the time to learn about a business and an industry and everything, so that they, like, it's more about a relationship of, cultivating this, like, I really understand what you do in order, And so the investing is, I'm going to do this because it's going to eventually have good returns for not only me, but also everybody else that's involved in that. Versus like, I'm going to go day trade. That's not
Right.
investing.
Right.
And Flame Gene, if you're a day trader and you think that's wrong, but that's not investing.
Right. This is gambling.
That's gambling.
Yeah.
And I've seen good friends gamble that way and lose big.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tricky one.
Mhm.
But yeah, I like that you use that word too, and I think that I've spoken to people about helping people, and they feel like these people I've spoken with, they feel like they have to help people in a selfless way,
No.
right? Like I think it's okay to genuinely help someone and better your own position at the same time.
Yeah.
As long as it's like, you know, not overtly like Machiavellian, like why you're like, oh, do this and then they're going to do that. And then, but like, yeah, I mean, I think you get what I'm getting at. Like you can advance your position. You can help yourself. You can feed, if it's just feeding that thing in you that you need to feel good about yourself, even if it's just that, from helping someone.
Well,
I think that's fine.
No. And listen, is it totally selfless of me to buy those meals for those kids?
Makes you feel good about yourself.
It makes me feel good about myself.
Yeah, right.
I have the ability to do it.
Right.
I it's like, I don't want them to go, oh, thanks, man.
Yeah, you don't want that.
I don't want that.
You
but
personally want it inside
I want them to go, oh,
Yeah.
because I want them to do it.
Yeah.
Like, it is a small investment because I want them to think about somebody else.
Right.
And truthfully, also when you're in the military, like, on a daily basis, you're not in the military because you're trying to be selfless. And I want to help people and be a hero. And, like, a lot of that shit happens in the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, you train for it and you prepare for it and everything. But the truth is like, the rest of the time is like,
it's a job.
Yeah, it's a job. And, there's
you get to have fun, whatever you think.
Right.
Yeah.
And, but I want, if I do that for them, then I want them to think about that. Like, when they're in a position that they can afford more than their meal,
right.
They can afford it for their buddy. They can afford it, for, other people as well. And that, so take a little bit of selflessness and bring it into, like, it's okay to be, I think you can be selfless.
Yeah.
And also there's something in it for you. And I know that sounds wrong.
I don't think it doesn't to me.
Okay. Thanks.
No, I mean, that's my point. I've spoken with people and that's how they approach it.
Yeah.
So therefore they don't do it that much.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Or they only think of it in terms of like, feeding the homeless or whatever. It's like, no, man. I mean, you can go out of your way to help someone, some junior, designer or some junior developer or whatever. Just help make sure they're, doing things that's going to make them better.
Yeah.
You can totally help them.
Right.
It's not all competition.
But again, like, do I invest in my staff purely for selfish reasons? No. Do I invest in them totally for themselves? No.
Yeah.
I invested them because I need them to be better on a daily basis so that my life is somewhat easier.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And it doesn't have to be selfless.
I've got the two words there, gratitude and loyalty. I think those are two different looks at this. Like, you've done something for someone professionally, personally, whatever. There's the two sides of that coin. One is gratitude and one is loyalty, I think.
Yeah.
Because you can be thankful and not loyal.
This is true. I appreciate you doing that. And
like, I'm still leaving. Yeah. I mean, then there's loyalty.
Yeah.
I think I would rather have loyalty. You know what I mean? And I bring loyalty up because I think loyalty is a two-way street, right? Mm-hmm. In order to get loyalty from you, I have to give it back.
True.
And sometimes I have to give it first.
Yeah.
I think that's the scary
Well,
part.
it's the same thing with respect too. Like,
I think that's the scary part of that doing this.
yeah, you have to take a chance.
Yeah.
And especially,
I think that number 4, like they follow because of what you've done for them. I think people can see you do that for other people
Mhm.
and still have the same feeling.
Yeah.
Because they know, man, Aaron did that for that person. He went to bat for him. Whatever. Like I'd like to be around that because I think he would do that for me. You know, and people begin to know that.
Yeah.
Which leads into the last one here. They follow because of who you are.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's considering the pinnacle of leadership influence.
Yeah. That's that is a leader versus a manager. That is, the two ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
And it's I'm gonna follow that person because of all those other things first.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think the legitimate power, your boss or whatever, like it doesn't have to be that, but everything else, the again, take the boss side out. They follow because of what you've done, and follow what you've done for them because of what you've done for them, and they follow you because of who you are. Like those, they follow you because of who you are because of those other things as well. So this is like it's all sides coming together in one, and so that's why when he calls it 5 levels of influence, like that's kind of the pinnacle. That's the leader that I want to follow.
It is. You seek those people out and you campaign to go work for them.
Right. Exactly.
What a great place to be in.
Mm-hmm. No, that's that's. I don't know if that's everybody's goal, and I don't even know if that's my goal.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah,
because this isn't by any means like the things you should be doing professionally.
Yeah,
like you don't even have to get to number 1. I mean, you can totally be happy and just do things. I mean, you can totally do that.
Yeah, agreed.
Right.
If that's the pinnacle, then say that's perfection. Anywhere along the way that you try to get to, is still a good fucking start.
You're still kicking some ass.
Yeah,
I think
so.
All right, man. Well, that was cool.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye.